What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 30 on 30. Today we're talking about the San Francisco Giants. Okay, a team that's they're in a tough division too. I mean, they're in the division with the Padres and the Dodgers and the Rockies. That's a tough division. It really is. And the Arizona Diamondbacks. Didn't forget about you guys. But the Dodgers and the Padres are kind of steps ahead, in my opinion, of most of the other teams. But, I didn't expect the San Francisco Giants to be as competitive as they were this past year, but they were. So, and I think they're in a position to, at the very least, compete again in 2021. Now, it's going to be, we really don't know what's going to happen. I said this in the last couple of videos that it might be a 120-game season in a transition year back to 162. We don't know because of everything that's going on. It's so unpredictable. It could be 120 games with half capacity of fans. Teams have to, at some point, recoup a lot of revenue that's been lost, and this is a bloodbath this year. And there's a lot, what's going on. Cities are being shut down again because of, irresponsibility of government and just not taking it seriously. And it has to get better. So, and I do think it will in 2020. We'll take strides forward, but I think the damage is going to last beyond 2021. So, but I could still see, at the very least, 120 game season with a decent amount of fans. But we'll see. It at least gives teams an opportunity to start making revenue again. Now, in terms of the Giants, I think they're in a position to either add to what they have or make a few trades. They're in an unusual position too, and really don't know. Will they be as good as they were last year? We don't know. But some of the needs I've identified for them is bullpen, starting pitching, and infield. And it's probably other needs as well. There's always needs. But these are the most kind of glaring ones that I think would be easiest for them to address and fill. And they could be another team like a lot of other teams that are going to bring in, 5 or 6 or 7 guys on reasonably priced contracts instead of one guy making $150 or $200 million. I don't see any $200 million players this offseason anyway, but that doesn't mean somebody's not going to give somebody $200 million. Who knows? But these are the needs that I see that are most glaring for San Francisco. So, by the way, if this is your first time to the channel, welcome, and hit that subscribe button and notification next to it if you enjoy good baseball content. My regulars, you guys are the best. Back to San Fran. I think that would be good to bring in somebody like Blake Trinan. It's a power arm, and he'd be a good fit there. He's already on the West Coast. He'd be a good fit in that bullpen. It would strengthen it. Give him some some versatility there as well, and be a nice addition. And it would not be. It's not going to require $50-60 million. I don't see any closer, unfortunately, making that type of money this year. Even though they've got Liam Hendricks and quite a few other power relievers and very reliable ones, it's just going to be. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a rough offseason for a lot of free agents, just because of the financial state of the sport. Until things get back to a better, financially healthy state, this is what I see happening. But that being said, there's, I think, 200 free agents. They need jobs. They need to play. They need teams. So these guys will get signed. It's just a matter of how much and for how long. We don't know. But I think Blake Trinan would be a good fit in the bullpen there. In terms of starting pitching, I actually had 2. And one of them, I think they should bring in Mike Minor as an additional arm in the rotation, and I think they should bring back Kevin Gauchman. He accepted his qualifying offer, so that's done. And I think he could have gotten more money on the free agent market, but he clearly wanted to stay in San Francisco, so good for them. He's happy there. He pitches well there, so he's a great fit there. But I think it'd be a good idea to add to the rotation and bring in somebody like Minor. He's a good veteran arm. It would give them innings, give them versatility from the left side, and take the load off of some of the bullpen as well. But bringing in a relief pitcher, potentially 2 and a starter, or maybe a second one as well, would be a good way to strengthen the pitching side. And anytime the Giants have been really successful in the playoffs, they've done it with deep pitching. So this is a way of doing it in a non-sexy way. Does that mean they will not sign Trevor Bauer? It doesn't mean that. Who knows where the hell he's going to sign? You never really know. He's so unpredictable, but that doesn't mean the Giants can't do it. Even though haven't yet kind of replaced Madison Bumgarner in a flashy way, they could do it. They can make a trade for a player too. Who knows? But Gaussman, they clicked that off the box, which is great. And I can see them bringing in, I think Mike Minor would be a good fit. Infield, I think Tommy La Stella, and I think he's a good fit for a lot of teams, so I mention him often. But he gives multi-positional versatility, and, with guys like Brandon Crawford, and you have a lot of other versatile players. This guy's he'd be a non-flashy move, but he would do, I think, a great job in San Francisco and be a great fit to the lineup, great fit to the defense, and it would just be one of those underrated kind of DJ LeMahieu type moves when nobody thought he was going to turn into this machine. He was a great player already, but look what he's done with the Yankees. And I'm a Yankee fan. I would have been happy had he stayed his production with Rockies, but he turned into he upped his game a whole nother level. I could see La Stella actually upping his performance over in San Francisco as well. I could see it happening. Now, they are in a position to do. They have a couple of trading assets like Brandon Crawford. They could probably get a couple of prospects back for him. So they have to decide whether they're going to trade a piece and bring in a piece, or just continue adding. They have to kind of decide. And it's it's unfortunately a little bit more difficult for teams to do right now. But it's just the decisions they have to make, and how are we going to go for it and compete? Do we have the budget and willingness to do that? Because in order to do that, then they're going to have to make several moves to catch the Padres, who are shortly behind the Dodgers, but both of them are kind of quite a few steps ahead of the rest of the teams in the NL West, in my opinion. That's kind of what I think they should do. Now let's move over to what I think they'll actually do. I could see them bringing in like a Brad Peacock, another reliable bullpen arm. I could see them bringing in Peacock and Treinen. You never know. But somebody like Peacock would be a good, good versatile right-handed pitching, relief arm there, would strengthen the bullpen either way, just like Treinen would. Again, I think two relievers in a cost-effective way would be much better than a more expensive one. And it's very possible in this market there are a lot of free agent relievers. So they can bring back Romo. They can do a lot of things, and bring in Peacock, or Peacock and Treinen, Peacock and Hendricks, Peacock and Joaquin Soria. They could do a lot of things. There's a lot of free agent pitchers out there on the relief side and the starting side, but that's kind of like the more likely move I see them making. Again, not sexy, but they don't always make the sexy moves. They don't, but they do well. Just like adding La Stella to, and another offensive player to Yastrzemski and some of these other folks, they'll have a nice lineup. This is the way I think they'll have a stronger bullpen and a stronger rotation. And I had originally had them predicted to bring in Drew Smiley, but he signed yesterday, or a couple days ago actually, with the Atlanta Braves for a 1 year, $11 million deal. And that's, again, which $11 million is a lot more than I thought he would make. So it goes to show you there are teams out there that are going to spend. Even though you think a lot of teams are going to be frugal, and a lot of teams will likely be frugal, there are teams that spend. They clearly thought he was worth the expenditure. And, hopefully he'll be a healthier version of what Cole Hamels was in 2020. They brought him in on a similar contract, and he just was unable to stay healthy. So they're bringing in a lefty guy who's younger and hopefully can stay healthy and produce for them, because they're another team like the Giants, who, when they play well, they're deep in pitching. And that showed this, the season of the playoffs. So adding another pitcher to that stable of young pitchers would only be a good thing. And they've got that young, dynamic offense, and I see them adding to that as well, probably via a significant trade this offseason. So, but we'll see. But, I can still see them bringing in another starter either way, even though Smiley's with the Braves. I could see them bringing in someone else, on a cost-effective contract, or even trading for somebody like a Lance Lynn would be a good trade, and he wouldn't, he's not going to require 8 prospects or their number 1 or number 2 prospect. Like, he's a very gettable piece. When you talk about other guys like Marco Gonzalez from Seattle, who's a 1 or a 2, but he's got 4 years of team control left on a very affordable contract. That's when you start getting several top 5 prospects and things like that. So I think they'll bring in a pitcher one way or another. And if it's not Smiley, it's obviously not going to be Smiley, so it'll be someone else. And I can see them bringing in somebody like Marwin Gonzalez, utility player, plays multiple positions, gives versatility. But will I be surprised if they brought in La Stella? No. But Marwin Gonzalez will be a more affordable option, even though he's a little bit older. I could see him playing well there, and again, giving them similar versatility that La Stella would give them. So that's my outlook and my predictions for the San Francisco Giants. Let me know what you think, especially if you're a Giants fan. You know more about your team than all of us do. So give us your feedback in the comments down below. Please hit that thumbs up and that subscribe button if you enjoyed it. It's really helpful to the channel. And again, let me know if you subscribe so I can thank you in the comments. I appreciate everybody's support. You guys are what makes this channel great. So, and with that, the last team in the West we're gonna go to tomorrow. It's gonna be the Oakland A's. So, perennial powerhouse playoff, but they're gonna be undergoing some transition too. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow. Be safe. Look out for each other, and I'll see you over in Oakland.